A lone man, skilled in battle, unbound to any moral codes, and pictured against a vast landscape. Japanese samurai films, or chanbara, and spaghetti western films seem to be in two different worlds, yet the connection between the two is actually an interwoven tale of borrowing and lending between cultures. One of the most often referred to adaptations from samurai to cowboy is Kurosawa Akira's 1961 film Yojimbo into Sergio Leone's 1964 film A Fistful of Dollars. The film is practically a shot-for-shot remake. A cowboy approaches a town and violently pits two gangs against each other. The films are so similar, in fact, that Kurosawa Akira successfully sued Leone for copyright infringement, stating, "Signor Leone, I have just had the chance to see your film. It is a very fine film, but it is my film." However, are these films truly the same? After adapting from samurai to cowboys, is A Fistful of Dollars still Kurosawa's film? In this video essay, we examine how Leone creates a new interpretation of the film Yojimbo through his adaptation to the spaghetti western genre, by placing the film into a new cultural context and by adding his own directorial flair as an auteur. A Fistful of Dollars becomes a markedly changed film with its own distinct impact on cinema itself.
Though the movies are considered shot by shot, there are key differences that Leone made to transform Yojimbo into A Fistful of Dollars. One of these differences is how the directors choose to depict their character conflicts in their own signature camera styles. During indoor scenes, Kurosawa builds tension by setting his cameras to statically capture the people in the room. There, his blocking and their eye contact tell the story of the relationship between the individuals. Here, the samurai sits in the back, watching the commotion of the rest of the room. Seibei, worried and scared, looks around demanding reassurance. His gang all looks directly at him in shock or awe, or is facing away in disgrace. In comparison, Leone's interior shots are much more active, tracking only a few characters and using physical movement of people and camera to create intrigue. The camera cuts from wider angles and zooms to extreme close-ups. Sergio Leone also uses wide shots to place the characters in the same frame, but as equal characters to elaborate on the wider spectacle of their interaction. For example, here, the director uses a full view of the main character and his gun to portray the carnage it insists, to depict the brutal approach of fighting and killing. Sergio Leone differentiates from Kurosawa by using these shots to bring the audience to a Western styling of Italian theatrical opera through contrasting characters in a single frame.
However, a criticism of Leone's decisions is the loss of cultural interpretations by adapting a film across cultures. Take, for example, the final battle scene of Yojimbo. The weapons of choice in this battle scene are between the samurai Sanjura's sword and the opposing gang member's pistol. This pistol throughout the film has been emphasized as a symbol of power and unfair advantage, and a method of violence that subverts the honor in a sword-fought battle. The pistol holds meaning, both symptomatically in the wake of World War II and referentially in the Edo period, where the existence of this sole pistol can be seen as the destructive nature of the weapons that come from the West. We are made to root for the samurai, whose honor and skill with the sword ultimately defeat this infiltrative symbol of violence. Yet once transformed into the Western world where everyone is wielding pistols, this interpretation is lost. Leone's final battle only depicts a pistol against a rifle, which, although it captures the power and balance between the weapons, doesn't carry the same meaning. The fact that Kurosawa's films can be so easily made into westerns is not a coincidence. In fact, it is symptomatic of Kurosawa's own background and inspirations. Kurosawa himself is heavily inspired by global media. He attributes much of his style and interest to his childhood exposure to inspirational texts such as Shakespeare or American Western director John Ford.
そういうことよりもね、もちろん
I think that more than the fact that I was able to see Western films when I was a child is the fact that we didn't have a lot of entertainments at that time. There was no television, there wasn't radio, and the biggest pleasure for a child was reading books, and that's where I really learned about the West and came to love Western literature.
Kurosawa brought his love for American westerns into the inspiration and filmmaking of Yojimbo. Upon its release, Yojimbo was regarded in Japan as a subversion of the contemporary jidaigeki genre, with its gory violence and Western genre plot elements. Kurosawa's unique style impacted how jidaigeki were created from then on. Similarly, Leone is credited for kickstarting the spaghetti Western genre with A Fistful of Dollars. His depiction of the aloof man with no name is a recognizable symbol of how we view Western or cowboy films to this day. Ultimately, both Kurosawa and Leone's works have had their individual impacts as films of their genres. Though they hold the same plotline, Yojimbo and A Fistful of Dollars were interpreted in their own ways. Before we can label one type of cinema as a copy or inspiration of another, it's important to keep in mind the history behind these films and also the directorial decisions that make these films markedly different.